Welcome to Week 12 NFL Prop Shop Monday Night Football Edition. I am your host, Bobby Stanley, also known as PropHolliday, rocking with the GoldBoys. All right, the Eagles have won 7 straight games. They actually do not fly again for the rest of the season. They do have road games, but they're in Baltimore and D.C., so they're actually getting on an airplane the rest of the season. I thought that was pretty cool. Clear-cut number 2 team in the NFC, probably behind Detroit. Definitely behind Detroit. NFC West is just in shambles right now. The Rams, Niners, and Seahawks all lose in Week 12, and they're just kind of muddling around that 500 mark. Josh Jacobs, I wrote Brandon Jacobs. Josh Jacobs, 3+ touchdowns and 100 yards yesterday. Quietly having a great season, but you'd never know it because Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley are doing what they're doing. Obviously, Saquon's show last night, 225 and 2 touchdowns. He had a career high. No, he went off, and everybody's excited to see what Derrick Henry's going to do tonight. Either way, like what I'm seeing out of Jacobs, Packers should be building some steam towards the playoff picture. Third best team in the NFC at the moment. Massive NBA slate tonight. Kristaps Porzingis returned some injury way earlier than everybody expected. I thought he was going to be out Christmas or just before Christmas. 5-month recovery on foot surgery. I'd expect some type of minutes restriction. I don't have a number, maybe 20 minutes, 15 minutes. He'll start. But it's just going to be fun to see him out there against the Clippers tonight. John Morant returns as well against Portland. I think CJ McCollum's back. Cade Cunningham's still out. But a good NBA slate tonight and a really good Monday Night Football game. So we wrap up Week 12 with a playoff matchup in the AFC. This will be a playoff matchup, or could be at some point. Baltimore Ravens -2.5 on the road in Los Angeles. Totals at 50.5, which is what we like to see as bettors. Real story here is going to be the battle of the Harbaughs, the Harbaugh Bowl. First time they played since Super Bowl 47. John Harbaugh, the Baltimore head coach, owns the record 2-0 against his brother. He beat him in the Super Bowl, and then he beat him on a Thanksgiving Day game, something like that. When I checked, Khalil Mack was still questionable for tonight. He missed last week's game with the Bengals. I do expect him to go. Ravens did I've looked to see how they bounce back against the loss against the Steelers. Chargers have looked good in general. I'm expecting a bit of a duel here between both quarterbacks, and I'll start my first play. Lamar Jackson over 30.5 pass attempts. Over 29.5 pass attempts for 1 unit at -128. I still like this at 30.5 if that's all you can get. According to PFF, the Ravens have a clear advantage in the pass blocking category tonight against LA. When Lamar has been given time this season, he's probably a top 3, top 4 statistical quarterback in the league. The Chargers rank bottom 10 in pressure rate. About 18.7% of the time they're getting pressure on the quarterback. Try to find a comparable matchup for Lamar, like how did he perform against another team with a lower pressure rate? The scrambles were down. He played against the Las Vegas Raiders. They were at a 17.5% pressure rate. Again, bottom 10 in the league. They don't generate pressure. In that game, he threw the ball 34 times. He rushed only 5. His splits under pressure versus dropping back, pretty big disparity. So 4% scramble rate when he's not under pressure versus a 15% scramble rate when he is under pressure. And I don't think that's happening tonight with the Chargers. Median pass attempts for Jackson is at 33. So we're still getting a good number here. And I think it's a good matchup. Chargers rank 10th overall in opponent pass attempts per game. They give up 33.9. So this is a good number for Jackson. It buys into the total being at 50.5. I think it's a back and forth. So we're going to see Jackson throw the ball a lot. Before we go to my NBA pick, BetMGM is giving new users up to $1,500 in bonus bets paid back if their first bet doesn't win. You can't beat that. Click the link in our episode in the description. Sign up below. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. So I have one play for the Monday Night Football spot, and then my second one is over in NBA. Ron Holland, rookie for the Detroit Pistons. I got him going over 5.5 points for 1.5 units at -120, and 10+ points for +320, like half a unit, 0.6 of a unit in that range. It's on Bet365. You may get it just before tip-off on FanDuel and DraftKings, but I like Holland tonight. I'm hell-bent on being right on him. I bet him the other night when Cade was out against the Orlando Magic. Problem was it was a tough matchup for him. Jonathan Isaac, I mean, as far as him finishing at the rim, he just couldn't do it. His shot wasn't falling. I think he went 1 for 7 on the night, 0 for 3 from 3. He had a couple boards, but when he came off the bench, scored immediately. He was the 7th guy off the bench. I think Stewart came in first to take over for Durant, but with Cade out, I think Holland becomes that bench scorer, that bench spark for this team against the Toronto Raptors. And it's a good matchup tonight against Toronto, especially compared to Orlando. They rank 20th in both transition and spot-up defense. They rank 30th in opponent free throw attempts. All of that is in Ron Holland's wheelhouse in terms of scoring. He played 16 minutes against Orlando. I think he gets closer to 18 minutes tonight. If he hits that 17, 18-minute mark, he's 3 for 3 against this line. So I'm climbing the ladder all the way up. I'm not recommending that level of degeneracy. I'm going 15 plus and 20 plus. Those tickets are for much lower. But I didn't want to expose that much to you. Ron Holland over 5.5 points for 1.5 units and 10 plus for about a half a unit. Before we go to the touchdown liquor cabinet, let's hear from my boy Brad.
Wait, before we get back to the picks, I wanted to thank you all for watching. Friends don't let friends watch videos without hitting the like button. So go ahead and press the thumbs up button and like the video. If you're new here and not subscribed, you should go ahead and do so because we're dropping new content each and every day on the GoldBoys Network. We strive to cover every sport and give out picks and analysis and valuable information for free on the GoldBoys Network. So make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell so you can get notified when we drop something new. I'm Brad Thomas. Let's get back to the picks.
Week 12, touchdown liquor cabinet for Monday Night Football. Top shelf, my 1 unit guys. I considered Dobbins at like plus 105, plus 110, plus 115. That was a consideration for 1 unit. I didn't pull the trigger because I think Baltimore hasn't they're one of the better goal line defenses. So I just didn't see the opportunity there as much. Derrick Henry, it's like minus 188, which I guess is a decent price when you compare it to like Mixon at minus 130. But I can't give that out for top shelf. So I have nothing really for top shelf, but I got 3 mid shelf, half a unit, and a quarter of a unit. So Ladd McConkey plus 145, I'd go half a unit. Zay Flowers plus 190, I'd go half a unit. Isaiah Likely plus 340, half a unit. The Chargers have not given up a receiving touchdown to a tight end all season. With that said, I went Likely because I think I saw this at like plus 210 on FanDuel, and those odds seem wrong, and it seemed eerily suspicious for me. But Likely's back. He's played the last couple games. He's finally getting a little bit healthier from the stint he was out, but he's a freak athletically, and he can make some plays with his legs, and it ties into us thinking that there's gonna be a little bit more pass attempts out of Lamar tonight with no pressure. So Likely at plus 340, I would go of a quarter unit, and then the cross sport lotto. So I've been doing these for the last couple of weeks since NBA returned. I take 1 from the primetime game in NFL and 2 to 3 occasionally in NBA and see if we can get a decent payout there. I got 25 to 1 on tonight's, putting a quarter of a unit on this. Mark Andrews, 4 receptions. His standard line's over 2.5. It's juiced to the gills. It's like minus 155. You might get 3. It's probably a 3.5 by now. But Mark Andrews, 4 plus receptions. Nikola Jokic, 30 plus points. I think he's had 30 in like 4 straight games. Plus he gets the Knicks, who give up everything in the restricted area, everything in the paint. Him versus Cat should be fun to watch. Jokic, 30 plus at home. And then Ron Holland, 10 plus points. It's plus 320. It's really pumping the odds of this. But I think he's really going to be their bench scorer tonight. Genius to jerk off move. If it works for Holland, we got a great price. If not, Kate Cunningham comes back and we never see him again. So Andrews 4 plus, Jokic 30 plus, Ron Holland 10 plus points. 25 to 1 over on Bet365. Go to quarter unit on this. Guys, I don't have much more for you. Should be a good Monday Night Football game. McConkey, Zay Flowers, Isaiah Likely to round out the touchdown liquor cabinet. And Lamar over 29.5 pass attempts. Ron Holland over 5.5 points. I will see you Thanksgiving, turkey, and a lot of football. So see you then.